They laughed, called them junk guns, knockoffs, range clowns, said they'd jam, said they'd flop, said no shooter with pride would ever carry one, and for a while, they were right. These pistols were punchlines, background noise in a world run by Glock. But 2025 didn't play along. Shelves emptied, dealers couldn't reorder fast enough, numbers rolled in, and the same guns everyone mocked were outselling Glock itself. Suddenly, the joke wasn't on the pistols, it was on the people who sneered at them. This list ain't about legends, it's about underdogs that flipped the market. The pistols folks swore they'd never touch, now sitting in holsters coast to coast. And number one, that'll sting the most, because chances are you laughed at it too. Not much glory in this one. Folks laughed at it soon as it showed up, said it was cheap, said it weren't fit for a real man's holster. I heard dealers pushing them off on rookies, smiling like they were selling snake oil. But the truth is, most folks never gave it a fair shake. But I've been around long enough to know something. Sometimes the gun you laugh at ends up being the one that stays by your side. And that's exactly what happened here. Shelves went empty, money got tighter, and while the big names sat gathering dust with tags that'd make your wallet cry, this Ruger kept moving. Quiet, steady, no fuss. Not a beauty or a race gun, but it shoots straight, it feeds, and it don't complain. That's more than I can say for some of the high-dollar iron out there. I've seen a young feller pull one out at the range. Boys snickered behind him till he ran box after box without stopping. By the end, they weren't laughing anymore. It ain't the hero anyone asked for, but it definitely outsold names twice its price, because sometimes plain steel with a fair sticker beats all the shiny promises in the world. Now here's a pistol folks were quick to spit on. Turkish plastic they called it, said it was trying too hard to be a Glock and nothing more than a knockoff for fellers who couldn't afford the real deal. I heard that talk more times than I'd care to count, but I've also seen the truth, and the truth ain't always polite. This little SAR-9, it works. Trigger ain't half bad, the grip feels right in your hand, and it don't quit when you're running mag after mag. All that noise about it being a copy fades away once you put rounds down once you put rounds down range. While the big names sat behind glass with tags that'd make a man's wallet bleed, this one slipped through quiet. Folks bought it because it didn't break them. Then they kept it because it didn't break down. I've seen men who once mocked it start carrying it without a word. No bragging, no flexing, just trust. Folks may still sneer, but the sales don't lie. It wasn't built to impress the highborn, it was built to run. And that's exactly why it outsold the mounts that mocked it. And if this one, the pistol they called a knockoff, could climb the charts like that, just wait till you see what's coming higher up on this list. A pistol this slim had no business carrying 17 rounds, yet here it is. SIG went and stuffed full-size fighting iron into the frame of a carry gun, and that's what turned heads. Folks didn't believe it at first. Hell, some still don't. Of course, the talkers had plenty to say. It ain't a real P365, it's too big, too heavy, too gimmicky. Same voices that mocked it online are the ones who never laid a hand on it. Truth is, SIG weren't trying to build another pocket pistol, they built this for men who wanted to carry small but still hit hard. That comp ain't just window dressing neither. Watch the sights. They climb soft, fall back fast. You get follow-ups near as flat as a race gun, but the pistol still disappears under a t-shirt. There was one fella who swore he'd never trade his old 365. A month later, he's packing the X macro every day. Said it rode light, but fought heavy, and he weren't going back. They mocked it at first, sure, but this pistol outsold Glock's compact by showing what carry guns can really be. Small enough to hide, mean enough to end the fight. This one. Whole damn generation carried it. Army boys, Cops? Hell, you couldn't look a movie poster in the 90s without seeing one of these Berettas staring back at you. Folks swore by it, called it the sidearm of America, but time is really cruel. By now, in 2025, folks look at it and chuckle, too heavy, too long, old as dirt. Young shooters don't want nothing to do with it. They call it their daddy's gun, not theirs. Dealers keep one or two behind the glass, and half the kids walk right past it like it's a museum piece. But the thing is, it still runs. Steel frame soaks up the recoil, slide glides back and forth smooth as butter, and mags feed without fuss. You squeeze that trigger, it does what it's always done. Not quick, not light, but it damn sure fires whenever you need it to. Ain't nobody buying it to show off. Folks grab it quiet, almost sheepish, like they know they're taking home a piece of history that just refuses to kick the bucket. And while the internet keeps laughing, gun counters keep emptying. And here's the part the Glock boys don't like. This old mule, laughed at, called a relic, outsold more than a few of their compacts this year. And if that stung, wait till you see the next entry. That'll rattle even more cages. Picked it up, first thought was how light it felt. Polymer frame, cheap in hand, like something you wouldn't bet your life on. That's what most folks say. It's just a Taurus. That name alone makes some men cry in laughter. But here's where they're wrong. This ain't the G3C folks complain about. The G2C earned its place because it doesn't jam and it doesn't choke. Trigger may be rough, frame feels plain, but once you load it and run it, it barks steady every damn pull, mag after mag. That's the part mockers don't tell you. They write it off before ever sending a round downrange. Truth is, the G2C made its name the quiet way, by working when folks needed it. It's not supposed to be fancy or even tactical, it's just steady iron at a price that don't bleed a man dry. There's no one out there bragging on owning one, but they just keep disappearing one counter after another. Dealers don't even bother polishing the glass. Soon as they set a G2C down, it's just gone. And here's the truth Glock boys choke on. Folks mock this pistol, swore it weren't worth carrying. Yet more hands are wrapping around this little Taurus today than some of those big names ever dreamed. Cheap or not, ugly or not, it's the pistol that slipped past all that laughter and took the crown right from under their noses. Ain't no polish on this one. First time you see it, looks plain as a tin can. Slide cut simple, frame stamped clean but bare. Folks just laughed, said it looked like a duty gun built on a budget line, and maybe they were right on the outside, but while they were busy joking, the factory kept spitting these things out and shooters kept hauling them home. Didn't matter if it weren't flashy, didn't matter if it didn't come dripping in aftermarket parts. What mattered was it fed, fired, and cost less than the pistol everyone swore was king. You line it up on the counter next to a Glock, most men would have reached for the Glock out of habit. But in 2025, habit gave way to wallet. Folks saw a workhorse priced fair, and they snatched it up before the glass could even get dusty. They mocked the Masada like it was cheap thin, yet numbers don't lie. It outsold more than a few Glocks this year, not by shouting, not by hype, but by rolling steady off the line and proving that plain iron still gets the job done. And if that ruffled some feathers, just wait. The next pistol on this list got mocked even harder and sold even faster. Grandma's gun. That's what folks called it. Said it was built for weak hands, soft recoil, old-timers who couldn't rack a slide anymore. The whole internet turned it into a punchline, a pistol for people who couldn't handle a real caliber, they said. But while they were busy laughing, the Shield Easy was walking out of shops day after day. Folks with arthritis, small hands, new shooters, all of them needed something easy to run, and Smith & Wesson handed it to them. Slide rack smooth, max load light, recoil near nothing. And here's the part folks don't like to admit. It wasn't just the grandmas buying it. Plenty of carry folks realized a pistol that runs easy and clean is worth its weight no matter what the keyboard warriors say. Mocked to hell, called soft, laughed at by the tough guys. But this grandma's gun outsold more than a few Glocks in 2025. Sometimes the pistol you make fun of ends up sitting in more holsters than the one you worship. And if that made you smirk, the next one on this list will wipe that grin right off you. Outsold Glock. That's the truth nobody wanted to hear. A pistol half the crowd laughed at, called a copycat, called a knockoff, said Springfield was late to the game, yet here we are in 2025, and the Hellcat Pro's been leaving shelves faster than the very pistols it was compared to. When it first landed, folks mocked it hard. Another striker-fired plastic wonder, said Springfield was just trying to play catch-up with the SIG P365, already a runaway success. Claimed it didn't bring nothing new to the table, just another micro-compact in a market already full of them. But shooters figured it out quicker than the critics. 13 or 15 rounds tucked in a frame you could hide easy, slim profile, optics ready right out of the box, grip texture mean enough to stay planted. The Pro version stretched it just enough to give you control without losing concealment. Suddenly, it weren't just another option, it was the option for folks who wanted capacity and comfort carry in the same package. While the internet bickered and cracked jokes, buyers kept sweeping them off shelves. Dealers didn't even have to push. Stock came in, stock went out. That's how the so-called knockoff outsold Glock's compacts, not by hype, not by noise, but by doing exactly what shooters were looking for. Folks laughed the second PSA dropped the dagger. Poor man's Glock, they said. Cheap plastic, not gonna last. I've heard it over 100 times like they all read from the same damn script. Truth is, they never even fired it. They just sneered at the name and the price tag. I picked one up, expecting trash. Figured it'd rattle, jam, give me that hollow feel some budget pistols got. But the thing just ran. Slide was tight, trigger broke cleaner than I thought, mag fed smooth every pull. It wasn't flashy, but it barked steady, and that's all that matters when your hide's on the line. Thing is, PSA didn't just sell a pistol, they sold a platform. Cheap enough to grab, wide open enough to build. Swap slides, swap barrels, trick it out till it don't look like what you bought. That's where folks woke up. This wasn't just bargain bin junk, it was a poor man's ticket to a custom rig. And while Glock sat smug, counting on their name, the dagger slipped in quiet and started eating their lunch. Mocked it first, sure, but by 2025, shelves were empty and more than a few Glocks sat unsold. Next up, a pistol that hit Glock where it really hurt. Cops don't chase hype, they chase tools that they trust, and that's why the PDP caught me off guard. First glance, folks laughed, said it was too slick, too European, never gonna knock the crown off Glock in the duty world. I heard all that noise, same as you. Then the contract started popping. Quiet at first, but steady. Officers sliding Walthers into holsters where Glocks used to ride. And when I finally ran one myself, I got it. Grip feels like it was carved just for your hand. Trigger breaks clean. Sights jump up, then fall right back down, almost like the gun wants you to fire again. Ain't fancy once you're behind it, just steady steel that doesn't quit on you. You know what sealed the deal for it? Watching the same boys who mocked it on forums come back from the range looking sheepish. Suddenly, Eurotoy turned into duty ready. And once the badge crowd gave it their nod, shelves started emptying quicker than Glock could blink. So yep, laugh if you want, but if cops are picking it and it's outselling the so-called king in spots Glock thought were locked down, that ain't luck, mind you. That's the PDP writing its own chapter. Funny thing about the rival, when it first hit, shooters laughed. Turkish plastic, race gun wannabe, no way it hangs with the big dogs. I heard it at every damn counter. They mock the name, the price, and the country that it came from, but out on the line, totally different story. The first mag I dumped through one, it barely moved. Recoil flat as a skillet, sights snapping back on target like they were glued. The trigger, out of the box, it felt tuned better than pistols twice its price. Didn't take long for word to spread, and once it did, shelves cleared right out. Dealers couldn't keep them for long, even the ones who'd swore they'd never move a Canic. And it wasn't even just the weekend plinker snapping them up either. Pretty soon, I would see the rival on competition lines. Boys with $1,000 Glocks strutting in only to get dusted by a box fresh Canic that cost half as much. You could see it all in their faces. Their pride turned sour, and every red-cheeked loss meant another rival disappeared off the shelf. The truth is, you can mock a name all day, but the numbers don't lie. By 2025, this cheap plastic pistol was outselling plenty of Glocks that were supposed to be untouchable. And the next one, that one shocked even me, not because it was good, but because folks wanted it anyway. Most folks laughed when Ruger rolled out the Max 9. Plastic toy, budget filler, not worth betting your life on, they said. I heard it all. But the second shooters put rounds through it, the talk changed. It's not fancy, but it disappears under a t-shirt, comes optics ready right out of the box, and stuffs more rounds than the old single stacks ever managed. Trigger is stiff and the recoil snappy, but the damn thing sure runs. Box after box, no excuses, no stoppages. That's what made heads turn. While Glock and Sig were still strutting with their names and fat price tags, the Max 9 was slipping off counters quiet and fast. Dealers who thought they'd be stuck with them couldn't keep the stock for long. The buyers didn't need any hype, they just saw the price, saw it run, and took it home. By 2025, the little Ruger that got laughed at was outselling guns twice the cost. Not pretty, not polished, but earned its keep the hard way. Cheap don't always mean weak, and Glock sure as hell felt that bite. And number one, that pistol didn't just outsell Glock, it kicked the damn door in. When the P10C first dropped, most folks shrugged it off. Another plastic striker gun, they said. CZ should stick to steel. Mocked as just a wannabe sitting in Glock shadow. Then the shooter started running it, and that shadow disappeared quick. The grip locked in like a vice, the trigger broke clean, and the recoil felt tame enough to run mag after mag without fighting the sight. It didn't need flash and didn't even need hype. It just worked every damn time. Word spread quick, and by the time the forums caught on, shelves were already empty. This isn't a safe queen or a brag piece. It's a workhorse. Duty guys, carry guys, weekend shooters, they all found fast the P10C wasn't pretending. It earned its place one trigger pull at a time, and the same mounts that once called it a clone, they're quiet now because the numbers did all the talking. By 2025, the so-called wannabe was outselling pistols that thought they had the throne locked down. Glock got humbled, plain and simple. At the range, you can spot it easy. Old boy down the line, sleeves rolled, steel framed CZ in his hands. Doesn't say a word, doesn't need to. He's been shooting this thing since before half the crowd even knew what a striker-fired pistol really was. Folks online still laugh at it. Heavy, outdated, why carry that? Same tired lines. But while the noise rolls in, dealers keep moving them. One of these gets sets in the glass and it disappears before you even know it. No ad campaign, no hype train. Just a gun that's been proving itself for decades, and 2025 proves something else. While Glock fans barked, the sales told a different story. This slab of Czech steel outsold more than a few pistols that thought they owned the crown. It didn't need to chase respect, the 75B already earned it. These pistols were written off, trashed, and dismissed. And now they're the ones filling holsters while Glock plays catch-up. Nobody saw it coming, and that's what makes it burn. So I'll put it out to you. Which one of these deserves the crown, and which one's just hype with numbers behind it? Say it straight in the comments. I'm Steve, and I'll remind you, reputation fades, bragging fades, but the sales don't lie. In 2025, the crowd picked their winners, and it wasn't Glock.